What's going on, everybody? John Eric Poli here with my MMA news, and today's guest will be taking on Miranda Maverick at UFC 298, joined today by Andrea Lee. Andrea, nice to see you as always. How's everything?
Everything's good. It's good to see you too.
So,
Everything is
birthday
good.
girl, right? We're recording this interview on a Monday. Your birthday was the day
Mhm.
before Sunday. So, first off, I guess, happy birthday. Just how was the
Thank you
celebration when
very
you're
much.
in the middle of a fight camp getting ready for fight week?
Well, it was small and it was healthy, So I had to keep everything to a minimum. Couldn't go out and do really as much as I would normally do on a birthday celebration. So we just stayed home and chilled for the whole day and kept it simple.
And I know for you, right, with your daughter being in school, getting to vacations are kind of hard
Yeah.
this time of the year. So post fight, do you do a bigger birthday celebration or probably not?
Well, yeah, I'll probably. I don't. It's not going to be like a huge celebration, but I'll probably go out, to one of my favorite restaurants and have some of their special martinis and celebrate in the sense of having another year and living another year and celebrate my fight victory that I'm going to be having here in a few days.
Yeah, a lot of nice things to be celebrating here coming up in a few days. That's going to be for sure. And I was
Oh
going to
yeah.
ask you brought up the martini thing there. You know, when you're having any sort of celebration, whether that be the birthday or even when you're fighting close to like a major holiday, does that kind of
Mhm.
suck when you want to indulge in all those maybe extra foods or drinks or any of that type of stuff and you got to definitely sit one out because you have a fight coming up?
Only sometimes. Most of the time, I don't really let it bother me in any way. Because I can always just enjoy those things afterwards. I'm able to stay pretty focused. Um, you know, as far as holidays and stuff go, in the beginning, it was definitely difficult for me to kind of like, have to cut weight during those times, like Thanksgiving or Christmas. But now I'm so used to just eating healthy that it's I don't know. I feel like I'm still able to have what I like to eat because I'm so used to eating like, good things. And so I don't feel like I miss out on too much, except for maybe the alcohol.
I was just going to say, is there like, if you had to pick one thing that maybe you crave or miss during a fight camp, what would it be? Is it the booze?
No, I would say it's more like Thai food. Because if I was gonna have a cheat meal, I like Thai food, and I think that's one of my favorite. Because people ask me what your cheat meal is, and I'm like, I don't really know. But then I started thinking about it. I guess Thai food would be kind of my cheat meal. That or real ramen that you would get at like a ramen restaurant.
Two very good choices there, that's for sure. All right, let's get away from the food talk because I know you're obviously still in the middle of cutting weight there, so I don't want to bother you too much with that. Let's get into the
Okay.
actual fight itself here a little bit. I know camp is, you could say, wrapped up because you're going to be getting ready to fly out to Anaheim. Just how was your camp as you prepared for the fight?
Camp's been really good. I've been getting in a little bit of everything, of course. Working on everything that, I've been working on my past fights as far as like my wrestling goes. Just sharpening a lot of things as in the striking department and, keeping my long range and being mobile. Um, my last fight, I didn't get to really display a lot of the things that I've been working on. So hopefully I can show that in this fight and put on a show for everybody.
And I saw for this camp too on Instagram. I saw a couple different girls came out to train with you. I think was Christina Williams, I believe, was one of them. There's, I believe, somebody else too. Just what was that like having a few people come into camp, just maybe to give you different looks and whatnot?
That was nice. It's always good to get some new looks from some fresh girls. And Carly Judas also came out, and I got some work with her. It's always good to mix it up and just get new looks. Me and Vicky were always sparring with each other, so she and I kind of like negate a lot of the things that we're used to doing because we're used to seeing it on each other. So it's good to see new faces and to be able to mix it up a little bit.
All right, let's talk about your opponent now, Miranda Maverick. Just what have you seen out of her? I know she's been in the UFC a few years now. I'm sure you've probably seen quite a bit of tape on her.
Yeah, and we've also trained together before in the past. We've trained a couple of times actually. So I feel like I know a little bit about Miranda, though, we both have grown a lot since the last time we've trained together. We've both gotten better, I believe, in a lot of areas that maybe we you know, might have been weaker in the last time that we trained together. I know she's an aggressive fighter. She moves a lot. She switches her stance a lot. And she's also a very strong grappler. So I feel like, she's going to come in probably very headstrong, try to, strike with me a little bit and then work to get a takedown and try to grind me out. But, I feel like I'm prepared for all of that. I think that's kind of what Macy Barber was going to try to do to me in our fight. I was able to negate that and out wrestle her. And, I still think I won the fight, but that's not what we're here to talk about. I think it's going to be a good fight between me and Miranda Maverick.
And I thought you won that fight too as well, which I know we've talked about that at length a few times about how things could be different, all those split decision losses that you've had, not only that fight, but obviously other ones in your career. But we're not going to go down that path because we're thinking positive for a victory here. But I did want to ask you, it's so funny, right? For all the fans out there that maybe don't realize that we've had this conversation so many times, I think off air a lot of times, but the MMA community, it's very small when you think about it. So when you're saying like you trained with her a bunch of times, I feel like that happens a little bit more than what people think. So is this the first time for you? I don't think it is, right? You've had a few run-ins with some opponents where you guys have trained and got some working together. Just what is that like when you guys kind of did have that, friendly side where you were helping each other out and work with one another, and now you got to go in there and obviously be opponents, and somebody's got to come out with the win in such a obviously tough way when you have a friend on the other side there.
Yeah, I try to avoid training with people that I'm potentially going to fight in the future. I like Montana Stewart, Montana De La Rosa. Her and I, we had trained before in the past when we were amateurs, to a couple of times when we were pros, and then we ended up having to fight each other. And I had all respect for Montana and I like her, but I mean in that sense, we're there for business, and it's not personal. It's one of us has to lose, one of us has to win, or a draw, but that's kind of rare to happen. So it is what it is. And me and Miranda, she's used to it. She's fought many girls that she's probably trained with before, and or that she's friends with, but both of us know that it's just business and nothing personal.
All right, so now ready for the biggest media question of all time. This is something you're going to be getting all throughout fight week, so I guess I'll go ahead and ask you, though I hate asking it. We'll get in the gray area things, I guess, afterwards, but so many people are going to be asking, you're coming into this fight on a losing streak, just obviously how important it is to get back into that win column. And I know I believe our very first interview that we ever did together, you were actually you had a losing streak up to that point, and your big thing that you said was you just wanted to go back to having fun and not letting those pressures be there. Do you kind of feel that you're more in that mindset now, that this is about having fun and enjoying the ride and the career and everything?
I'm always trying to enjoy the ride and just have fun and not let the pressures get to me. But I know, that I need to go out there and I need to get this win, so I need to give it my all, and I can't be holding anything back. I still want to go out there and just have fun. But yeah, the pressure's on too. So, I mean, that's not going away. It sucks to be on a freaking losing streak. I don't feel like I should be on a 3-fight losing streak. I did lose my last fight fair and square, and there's nothing that I can say about that other than I just didn't show up. I didn't perform my best. And I'm willing to admit that, when I feel like I've definitely lost a fight. But I don't feel like I should be on a 3-fight losing streak. So I think that, maybe a lot of people are going to be underestimating me because of what they see on paper, but I know that I have skills and I bring a lot to the table. And if you're underestimating me, then that's on you. I mean, I'll just have to go out there and continue to prove myself like I always do.
And I hate asking those types of questions just because there is kind of like this gray area, but I know part of it obviously is my job, and I know fans are going to be out there saying stuff like that and what have you, but it's, funny when you think about things, just because like we have a bad day at work, we get to go in and punch the clock the next day and life rolls on. You guys, you go out there, you have one bad off night, it stands on the record. That's it. It's dead set in stone. There's no do-over. Or then, like we were saying with the Macy Barber fight, where that's a split decision, probably should have went your way. So that's, I mean, there's a lot of gray areas. I don't think a lot of people realize everything that goes on behind the scenes and everything else. I mean, just can you talk about that just a little bit, that there's so much more in the sport that people don't realize when they just look at a record and they see wins and losses. That's I get it. It's one thing, but there's so much more to the story than just that.
Yeah. So what people don't understand, this is our livelihood, and it's something that we can only do for a short period in our life. It's not something that we're going to be able to do forever. So when we train so hard, and when we have fights like the one that I had with Macy Barber, and you know, we have something that's taken from us that we feel like we rightfully won, it changes the course of our trajectory. It's like a promotion almost. It's like you should have got that win and you would have gotten that promotion, but now it's like you've fallen like 3 steps behind. Now you're further down the ladder than you were if you had gotten that win. So if I had gotten the win from the judges against Macy Barber, I would have still been in the top 10, and then I wouldn't have fought Natalia Silva, and then I might not have lost my fight. I don't know who I would have ended up fighting. Could have ended up fighting Amanda Ribas, and put on a really good show for everybody. But fortunately for Macy, she got that opportunity. She got her hand raised. So it's, people just don't understand. I mean, it's like what you see on paper is not necessarily what you're going to get in a fighter. A fighter could have a bad record, but it doesn't mean that they're like a bad fighter. You know what I'm saying? And I don't feel like I have a bad record, but I do think that 3 losses in a row looks bad, to anybody, and they probably think that I suck. And not only that, it's like, I've had like, I don't know, what is it, 6 losses in the UFC? I'm not really sure, but it doesn't sound good and it doesn't look good. So I don't know what everyone's thinking of me, but I'm pretty sure that I'm the underdog. And I'm definitely probably not a favorite going into this fight, but that doesn't really bother me, because I know what I can bring to the table, and I know what I have, and I believe in myself, and I have others that believe in me. But, I just think that I got to go out there and prove it again to the world.
Well, obviously, big opportunity to do that this Saturday night. One last thing before we start rolling out here today, I got to ask, for anybody that's followed your career, they know that you don't typically like to do the whole fighter hotel thing, and you usually drive out to wherever you're going to be fighting at. This time, obviously, flying out to Anaheim, you're going to be in the fighter hotel. Just talk about maybe adjusting to that a little bit differently than how you normally do things.
Yeah, I unfortunately, I'm so used to being able to like wash my laundry whenever I cut weight and I'm sweating all over everything. I like to be able to wash it like right then and there. And so that means that I'm going to have to pack a lot more because I'll be staying in a hotel. And then also the food situation. I like to cook my own food. I don't necessarily like the meals that the UFC bring anymore. I used to like the trifecta meals. The trifecta was good, but I'm not a big fan of the new food company. I think it's highly processed is what it looks like to me, and I don't think that it's organic or natural, and that's just me being real. So I like to eat organic and clean, and that helps me lose weight a lot easier for the week. It keeps my weight down, keeps me from being bloated. So I'm very particular, and I prefer to have an Airbnb because I have a kitchen, and unfortunately I don't have that in a hotel. So got to deal with it. I got to figure it out. I have to get like an induction stove or something. I'll be like, hopefully I don't catch the hotel bar because I'm gonna be in there cooking my own foods one way or another.
Yeah, don't set the fighter hotel on fire. We don't want to see you on the news for anything like that. Andrea, listen, I appreciate the time as always. We covered a lot of ground today. We talked a lot of serious topics, a lot of fun topics. You're a great sport as always. I always enjoy our interviews together. So thanks again for doing this. Just last thing before you head out for the day, you want to go ahead, plug your social media, management, sponsorships, all that good stuff. Floor is yours.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Wager Nation for bringing me on the team and sponsoring me. Rob Jenkins, Crystal Jenkins, I really appreciate everything that you do for me Dr. Prejean, and then of course my coaches, Brent Mason, Tony Kelly, Dustin Burton, and all of my training partners, Victoria, Leonardo, and of course the North Dakota wrestling team, and my family, and of course my support out there, my little girl Ainsley, and hopefully I'm not forgetting anything else. But either way, thanks a lot, and thank you for having me on today. You're the only interview that I've had so far.
I feel
Yes.
honored. I
Yeah,
feel
you're
honored.
the first interview that I've had for this entire camp. Just because I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of hard to get a hold of sometimes, and I don't know. I've gotten to where it's like I don't know. I only like to talk to the ones that I like. So you, and there's one other that I like to speak with, and so that's it.